We're learning new details about Justice Clarence Thomas's lavish lifestyle. ProPublica is now reporting that Thomas was gifted the following: 38 destination vacations, 26 private jet flights, 12 VIP passes to pro and college sporting events, 2 stays at luxury resorts in Jamaica and Florida, and a standing invitation to play a high-end private golf club in Florida. And this was reportedly all funded by a wider circle of billionaire friends. CNN's Joan Piskupic is here with new reporting, along with Nia Malika Henderson, who is back. So, Joan, tell us more about what we're learning from this ProPublica.
This is going to put even more pressure on the Supreme Court from the outside, from critics, in Congress, in the Senate, and it's going to make things more fraught inside. And I'll get to the inside in a second, but let me just tell you what Clarence Thomas has said in the past about this. He did not respond to ProPublica. He has not responded to our questions about the latest. But he said in the past that early in his tenure, he believed that he did not have to report any kind of this personal hospitality that was given to him by friends who didn't have business before the court. But let me just say, Dan, and I'm so glad you put that list up there, private jet travel has always been covered by the financial disclosure rules. So some 26 trips arguably should have been covered. And in the past, back in the 90s, early on in his own tenure, he did report, and other justices have reported private jet travel. So, admittedly, there was some fuzziness in the rules about personnel hospitality, but not a lot of it. Not a lot of it should have been disclosed. And then finally, if I could just say, the justices themselves, they've all left for their recess, but they have been trying to come up with a formal code to respond to all this pressure. The Chief Justice himself has been trying to spearhead that, but they are at an impasse. Some of the justices simply do not want to have something like this. They believe that they should be able to just be guided and to be trusted along.
So we're talking very important reporting there and context, especially, Joan. The first ProPublica story talked about a mega donor named Harlan Crow. This latest reporting widens that group of billionaires, I guess. There are 4 altogether, and you see them up there who helped to fund a lot of what we were just talking about. And, if you look at how much justices make, since he was on the court, his and other justices' salary has increased to $285,400 a year. Listen to what Clarence Thomas said back in 2001 about the pay.
The job is not worth doing for what they pay. It's not worth doing for the grief, but it is worth doing for the principle.
Well, and listen, his job has gotten him access to the generosity of lots of billionaires as well, affording him a lot of trips. I mean, he is living pretty high on the hog because of other people's wealth. Listen, I mean, if you look at the standing of the Supreme Court, it is at an all-time low in terms of the public's trust in the integrity of the Supreme Court. Some of that has to do with some of the decisions, and some of that is partisan, but it also has to do with these stories that have trickled out over the last month, not only about Clarence Thomas, but some other justices as well. And so at some point, I think something clearly is going to have to be done. You've got reporting that says hopefully something will be at some point.
And as you bring that in, I just want to quickly go to a new statement from Senator Dick Durbin. He's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, because you mentioned that they are, of course, looking into what's happening at the Supreme Court. These are not merely ethical lapses. This is a shameless lifestyle underwritten for years by a gaggle of fawning billionaires. Now it is up to Chief Justice Roberts and other justices to act on ethics reform to save their own reputations and the integrity of the court. If the court will not act, then Congress must.
Well, and here's the thing. This story reinforces the idea of whose dime are they on? Remember, they work for us. The best part of being a Supreme Court justice is they set the law of the land for all of us. Clarence Thomas was one of only 5 votes that rolled back Roe v. Wade. Clarence Thomas wrote the opinion expanding the Second Amendment and gun rights. Clarence Thomas is controlling so much of our lives. I think he should answer to the American public.
Hugely important point there. Thanks to you both. Appreciate it.